please chill. Should be 701. Africa, please chill. This comes with a link that takes us to Instagram. Let me share my screen with you guys. This takes us to Instagram. And this is a post. Hold on. In Mills, but I think it's an important post all the same. Some of you might have seen it. If you saw it yourself, drop a 1 in the chat for me if you've seen this one before. But we'll watch it and then we'll discuss it.
This is one of the cute glueless wigs that we have for babies.
Africa, you gotta relax, bro. You turned that baby into Mickey Mouse, man. Come on, man. Pack that baby up, son. What are y'all doing, man? What are y'all doing out here, bro? If the baby bald-headed, let the baby be bald-headed. It's still a cute baby. It's a baby. The baby don't need their hair done, son. Also, there's no baby on planet Earth that age with that much hair. Y'all put a lace front Jasmine from the Boondocks wig on this baby head, man. Come on, son. Pack you up, Africa. Whatever country did this, pack you up. Y'all out of pocket.
This is one of the cute glueless wigs that we have for babies.
Africa, you gotta relax, bro. You turned that baby into Mickey Mouse, man. Come on, man. Pack that baby up, son. What are y'all doing, man? What are y'all doing out here, bro? If the baby bald-headed, let the baby be bald-headed. It's still a cute baby. It's a baby. The baby don't need their hair done, son. Also, there's no baby on planet Earth that age with that much hair. I put a lace front Jasmine from Boondocks wig on his baby head, man. Come on, son. Pack you up, Africa. Whatever country did this, pack you up. Y'all out of pocket.
I thought that was hilarious and sad at the same time. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Let me just read some of the comments under the video. Malik Musai says the baby ain't thinking about trying to impress anyone. So what's up with the mom? Pack mom's up. Diamond says made the baby look like a real live reborn doll. Marks my barber said pack that baby up. Miss Campbell Teach says don't pack the baby up though, with a laughing emoji. Someone else here says this is why Tuskegee University has a dress code, right? With laughing emojis and so forth and so on. The comments go, but it's a wild thing to do. So that clip shows wigs being marketed for babies. Why? It's funny on one hand, but there's a much bigger discussion about beauty, culture, and what we teach children. I guess the main question that we should ask for this prompt is putting wigs and other adult beauty standards on babies harmless fun? Or are we teaching Black children that their natural appearance needs improvement before they can even understand beauty? I wish there were some folks to come up with Zuli, you in the chat. Come on up if you got time, and let's break this one down. But in the meantime, in the chat, Trigger Happy says, are wigs fine if they fit the hair texture and hairstyles of the people, or does this have more to do with aging the baby by putting a wig on the child? So I think, let's unpack that whole thing. If you have to wear a wig, right, then a wig of the same hair texture, like Azuli is saying here in the chat, a wig of your natural hair texture, okay, that's cool, right? I'll agree with that. But why are we teaching a baby to wear a wig? We are not even allowing these children to grow up and embrace their beauty standard before we start indoctrinating them with this idea that you have to cut, like Will Mills said, if it's a bald head baby, it's a fucking bald head baby. The baby's cute anyway. Look at the little baby. The baby's cute anyway. But that's and the idea that you're selling this, the profit for this whole thing is just insane. Let this kid grow up, find her way. You teach them to embrace their natural hair. You ain't got to cover your hair with a wig. I remember a long time ago, we had this discussion on Shoot the Breeze where some people were saying, well, women tend to have alopecia, and so, you can't judge them for what. Well, this is not a grown woman. What's the comment now? What's the comment now? I remember that conversation very clearly. Yeah, women, they deal with a lot, and it's not my place. Well, I think it's my place to say that, you know what, this is a step too far. This is a step too far. In the chat, Zulism says, yes, a wig on a baby is horrible, and it's creating insecurities. Or it's about capitalism, making money. Well, that's the other part of the heinous act here. The other part of the heinous act is you're capitalizing off of this nonsense when you're going to be creating a certain mindset in this young child. If this continues, you're going to be creating a certain mindset. Because here's the thing about kids too, right? Kids really be learning while you're not teaching them. Kids are still learning. And so what is this kid going to be learning? This kid is going to be, if you're not careful, this kid in a year will be crying when you don't put that wig on her head. It's like a blanket. It's like a comforter. She'll be crying in a year or two. She'll be crying when you don't put this wig on her head. And look how they do it too. Look at all the little colorful berets and all that stuff in her head. She'll be crying when you don't give her this in the future. And you doing it to make a buck. You're doing it to make a buck. In the chat, Trigger Happy says, yeah, let them deal with the hair anyways, as opposed to hiding their hair early on. A wig should be more of an option after dealing with your own hair. Absolutely. Zuliism says from the chat, baby will get alopecia by the time she's 3. Right? Now, that reminds me, there's a black woman. I want to say she's a African-American woman. She's been going on and letting black women know and telling them about themselves, essentially, about wearing their natural hair. And she had an interesting video. I'm surprised I didn't put it up. She had an interesting video sometime, like a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago or so, that made me and all think. She was like, your biological mate, black men, have the same hair texture as you. How come they're not wearing wigs to, or protective, what they call it, protective hairstyles to protect their hair? And black men be growing their hair longer than some of y'all. And it made me think for a second, like, wow, I never even looked at it like that. Right? It's a crutch. It's a crutch. And like that woman said as well, like she said as well, the so-called wigs and all this stuff that you're putting on your head as a quote-unquote protective style is what's giving you alopecia any damn way. By the time you glue this shit down your forehead, back to your edges are gone. And now we got lace fronts for babies now. Trigger Happy in the chat says, yep, that subconscious becomes very important early on in life. And it's important to shape that in our direction as opposed to the status quo. Absolutely. Yeah, this is it's meant to be a humorous intro into the theme that we have going tonight about who defines us and what must unite us. But beauty, culture, and what we teach children is super important. Now this baby's gonna have this subconscious. You know what it's like? It's like, and I'm sure you guys who are listening to me have seen this before. It's like the white baby doll thing. You know, after you've given this black child this white baby doll and told them that it's so pretty and this, that, and the other, you go and you give the black child a similar baby doll, but it's black, they'll throw it on the ground and cry. They want their white baby doll. And this is, the crazy part is, this is not that child's doing. This is the parents doing. And this is how we have generation upon generation, to be quite frank, of do-nothings. If you come from do-nothings, you're going to probably do nothing. But this right here is just a damn shame. And you know what's the biggest part of the shame of this? Can anyone in the chat guess what the biggest part of the shame of this is? Let me see if anyone could guess it while I read these two comments from the chat. And by the way, click the link and come up if you have the ability to. It'd be nicer to have a dialogue than a monologue here. Trigger says in the chat, it seems like the hair routine for straighter hair products are much longer to do as. Wait, hold on. It seems like the hair routine for straighter hair products are much longer to do as well. So it's a net negative, honestly, if people are stubborn about this. I'm sure I didn't get that correctly, but Trigger, if I got that wrong, just retype it. I'll read it again. Erzuli in the chat says, self-hate and insecurities within Black women is a billion-dollar business. They're hard-headed. European beauty is their standard of beauty. So no one mentioned it, but the biggest issue with this, as Will Mills points out, is this is happening, of all places, in Africa. I'm not giving anyone a pass here. But I would more get that for folks who are closer to the belly of the beast. But y'all on the continent pushing this. In the chat, Cheryl says, Asians got black hair care and beauty on lock. And what's crazy is, I'll be real honest with y'all, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong. I live in New York City. Erzuli is in my neck of the woods too. I've never seen Asians advertise. To my memory and knowledge, if I have, is rare. I haven't really seen Asians advertising hair care products. But yet, there's Black folks flocking to them. There's Black folks flocking to them. In the chat, Brother Bakari says he'll be up soon. Sister Cheryl says, sorry to say, majority of females will not strictly stop the weaves. Who was it? Who was the leadership on the continent that was attempting to ban weave? I'm sure Trigger will remember. It was a woman too, was attempting to ban weaves, and they almost had a damn coup to get her up out of there. So while we're on this topic, let me ask you guys a serious question. I remember asking this question before on Shoot the Breeze some years back, and some guys said, well, it don't really matter to me. Hair doesn't matter to me, which is wild. But how do we stop this? If it's come to the point now that you are putting wigs on children. Now, this wig is, I guess, kind of like what her own hair would be, I guess. You know, based on what you guys are saying, especially in the chat. But this idea of wigs and weaves and all that stuff, when does it end? How do we get past this? Period. I'd like to read some of your comments on that. Trigger Happy says Senegalese leadership wanted to ban it in the National Theater and feminists rioted. I think that's what you refer. That's what I was referring to. Senegalese leadership, and I believe it was a African woman who was at the heart of this, wanted to ban weaves, as he said, in the National Theater, and the feminists rioted. Trigger says, I think men who say it's not a big deal to me are enabling this, in my opinion. You have to put your foot down. Absolutely. 100%. And I'm going to say something. I'm going to repeat something that Brother Bakari always says. Black men, we have a problem. Because we got too much men who are light on some of the serious things going on in our community. And that's really what it is. Too light because we don't take it too serious. Even amongst conscious brethren, they'll say, it don't really matter to me that a black women or black women in large amounts are wearing the hair of our enemy's woman. Who's our enemy too, by the way. Mr. Cheryl says we need propaganda demonizing dog hair. That's the only way I see it maybe working. Man, I think we've been talking about this for so long now, and it still isn't working. I remember when some Asians in New York City beat up some women in a weave store. No, actually, I'm lying. I think it might have been Texas. Some Asian dudes beat up some women in a weave store, beat them with sticks, and the next day, some big, strong black man went down there to regulate, and there was women standing up on the line arguing with these black men. Arguing. What you think happens to those black men who go down there to regulate, getting met with hostility, obviously from the Asians, but also from their women, and then turn around and talk to some black men who are going to tell you, well, I don't think it's that big of a deal. See, we got to understand this thing called consciousness, called, whether you like that term or not. But this idea that people are trying to unite through a shared consciousness, and there's so many antagonisms against it. What do you think happens to these fellas these people, men and women, what do you think happens after a certain amount of time? They're just going to give up on it. And you're right back to square one again. We got to get serious. We have to get serious. Right? But Bakari says that was Oklahoma and black women was out there with those men. I'm not talking about that then. I'm talking about something else. I think it was Texas. And there was black women in those lines pushing back like crazy. I don't remember women being with those men I'm talking about. But the point I'm trying to make is, what do you think eventually happens with if I go and I tell my biological mate, hey man, don't patronize this stuff. We're good with you with your natural hair. If you must wear a wig because of some condition, wear one that reflects who you are, where you're from. And you push back against me, and I turn to a black man and say, man, I went down there and tried to, and a black man tells me, boss, it ain't that serious. I don't really care. What is that person going to eventually do? They're just going to give up. In the chat, Trigger Happy says, my solution has always been for African leadership to completely ban it. Straight hair products and bleaching products completely, and push our own image of our hair. He goes on to say, yeah, they will say the natural hair carnival is low-hanging fruit and is not as important as other issues. I think that's a cop-out. People do that with interracial dating too. Yeah, there's a number of things that we don't find a big deal. This thing on the screen right now, this first Should Read topic, this should be a big deal. There should be an outrage about it. Why are you putting a wig on a baby? I mean, goddamn, why are you putting a wig on a baby? All right, Sister Cheryl in the chat says, look at what it took for black women to stop going to nail salons. And she says, and many still going. You know, I be looking in some of them when I'm walking, and it seems to me that there's less black women than before. I'll give them that. But there's still one or two in them shops. And, you know, and here's my thing, too. Just as a side note, I've been saying this for a long time. I've been saying this for a long time. We have a lot of issues, but we don't have so many issues that we can't address each of the issues. We got to address these issues. This issue on the screen is not as small as that baby is. What you're setting up in that child is a dependence on wearing these wigs that could be a lifelong dependence. We can have sympathy for people with medical conditions. And like I said, and Sister Cheryl agrees, if you have a medical condition, yeah, you can wear a wig, wear an Afro wig. Right? But there's no issue too big, no issue too small to not care about. Trigger Happy says those who are conscious basically have the dilemma of trying to keep their sanity while trying to get as many of their people to stop being insane. Sometimes preservation becomes a solution. Man, Trigger, you are preaching. You are preaching. And that's the problem that we're having. By the time you, I, Bakari, Sister Cheryl, Zuli, by the time we talk about this and get beat down from the naysayers and the contrarians, eventually, you know what you start to say? you start to say, yo, man, let me just focus on me and my own family. Let me just focus on me and my family. Before I introduce my panelists who's joined me, Sister Cheryl says something very interesting. She says, I hate to say this, but a man cannot push this message. It absolutely has to be a woman, because women will just say you're trying to take their independence. And that's not from me. That's from a black sister, a mother, a wife who's saying that. And I absolutely agree. That's the dilemma that we also have too in this area and other aspects of relationships. There's certain things that unfortunately men have found themselves having to come forward and speak on, when really the sisterhood should address that. But unfortunately, the sisterhood isn't addressing it, so we got to come out and say something, and it comes across different from a man. It comes across different from a man. I'll read the rest of your comments in a second. Let me, you guys keep commenting. Let me welcome my first panelist. I'll be Brother Bakari. Brother Bakari, how are you?
What's going on, man? I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Thanks for coming through.
It was a good first topic. I came on before I was supposed to. I had like another 10 minutes. But anyway, is that an Afro wig that little baby got on? Let me put my glasses. Okay, she got an Afro wig. Okay, so here's the thing that I'm gonna, she put a wig on her head. At least it's Afro, and she's a little baby. But you watch the NBA, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, you see there's a lot of ex-ball players' sons in the league now, right?
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
How many of them have black moms? The ex-ball players.
Almost none.
Okay, so when we say the man can't push the message, the man absolutely can push the message as well. Because they're going after the stringy hair, white or Asian woman when they get money, right? So my point is, those men are also pushing the message saying that is better. When you get money, that is better than having a black woman that's natural. Should women speak on it? Of course, women should speak on it. But the man pushed the message without saying anything. Look at Ron Harper kid. He got 2 kids in the NBA, right? Go look at their mama.
Yes, sir.
Go look at their mama hair. She's
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese. Yeah, look at Michael Thompson.
Oh, Vietnamese.
Yeah, I say Vietnamese. She might be Filipino. I don't know. Asian. How about that? Now go look at Klay Thompson. His daddy from the Bahamas. Look at those 2 brothers that was in those 2 that was in the slam dunk contest a couple years ago. They just kept going and going and going. One played for Denver. Zach Levine played with the whatever. Both of them. Both of them mulatto. So when we say the man don't play a role in this, my opinion, I always say it's the man and woman role. We can't just let the man off the hook too, because especially the men with money, because they are showing the image that they want, and you see it all the time. Now, I think a woman should talk to a woman about the hair. They would get the message better from a woman than they would get it, than they would take it from the man. Shit, now when you go outside of NBA, shit, man, come around Atlanta area and see how high interracial dating is. You understand? So
Yes, sir.
it's a message that need to be pushed by both the black man and the black woman. You can't just leave it up to either. Because if you see this woman and she's looking for somebody, and then you look and what they constantly put on TV, what you constantly put on TV as success, right? Look what these black men is married. Look at the black women they have put on TV as successful. So you understand what I'm saying? So they're getting a message from our men and everything on TV. Then we're not giving the message, and our women are not giving the message. But it is something that needs to be talked about, constantly looking up to someone else's beauty standards, as if we are not beautiful people. I hear the mic.
No, good stuff, Bakari. And I agree with you 1,000%, as you probably already know. Like you said, and that was my point. To what Sister Cheryl said in the chat, men need to be talking about it, but unfortunately, it comes across different from a man. A man doesn't going to just get to it. The sisterhood of women need to come together behind it, and they need to talk about it too. That eases the foray into the conversation. You know what I mean? Something else you said I was going to comment on too. But yeah, you're right. All them NBA guys are with white women. And so if you notice the league now, the league is lightening up. The league is lightening up. And it's not a Steph Curry situation, and I don't mean to get off topic, but it's not a Steph Curry situation where Steph's mama was just, his mom and his dad was just light skinned, right? But the league is whitening up, and it's because these guys are choosing this as the beauty standards. So we do as men need to speak on it as well. Let me welcome in my next panelist for tonight. That'll be Sister Cheryl. Sister Cheryl, how are you this week? Yeah, Sister Cheryl, we can't hear you. If you have the headphones on, you have to take them off.
Okay, I took them off.
I think the wireless headphones. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's just awful. This connection is just awful. Hold on. You can come back to me. Hold on. I'll come back in.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. In the meantime, Daily Affirmation by Pauline is in the chat saying good evening. So good evening to our sister Daily Affirmations by Pauline. We also have another panelist who joined us, and that is Azuliism. Azuli, how you been, man?
Yo, I'm good. It's been all right. Can you guys hear me?
Good. Yes, sir. We got you.
Yeah. The thing is about this whole thing we've been complaining for years is that this is the problem. Men will bypass that. It's insignificant to men. The hair is just a little insignificant to focus on if we're gonna get the woman. So if we're gonna get the woman and just a little inconvenience is just the hair, we could let that go. Because in our mind, not my mind, but in a lot of black men's mind, that's just so. But even black men, they themselves, they cut their hair to the lowest degree so they could spend their way. So black men also have the issue with that situation, but people don't see it that way. So to change that whole thing, it's a massive propaganda that has to happen, and black men have to stand up and be like, no, we're not taking that. But in the eyes of a man, it's like, yo, that's a little inconvenience. I'm gonna get the girl if she just want to get her weave. Boom. And a lot of us brothers, black men, We don't understand the significance of having rocking of a woman rocking the natural hair. And a lot of brothers have been governed and taught by their mothers who wear that wig since they were kids. So this is passed on by the because in most of our family unit, it's a matriarchy. So the woman is ruling. So to a man's I would prefer my daughter not to wear a wig. I would prefer my wife not to wear a wig, but hey man, for the sake of peace, I'm gonna let that rock. So that little girl with that, the only thing I agree with is that at least it was not a buzz down. It was a thing, but that could help the little girl. Like that's my only the what is it called? The silver lining, the thing, because it wasn't a 6 week, it wasn't a straight wig. But to be honest, like I think one of the brothers said on the chat, I'm tired of that, man. I'm tired of telling sisters to rock their own hair to be natural. Like I'm tired of that, bro. If you don't, I cannot. If you can't see that you need to, that's a form of self hate. I'm not sure. This is crazy. And also, in the society we in, black men are not running the propaganda machine to do that for them. Even when we look at the movie, there's a movie that came out, The Odyssey, where Lupita Nyong'o is in there. She didn't get the afro or the locks. They gave her some wavy type of wig. So unless we control the propaganda machine to turn this way around, the majority of sisters are not rocking with that. And there might even the sisters that have the natural hair, they tell you, or sometimes I choose to do that. I don't have to wear it 24/7. It's easier to manage. Da, 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 da. So I don't know, man. That's all I have to say for now.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Razuli. Yeah, and you kind of proved the point I made earlier that it does get tiring. It gets tiring, and I'm not just talking about this stuff with black women. I'm talking with black men too. It gets tiring telling black men too, and I don't want to get off topic, but it gets tired telling them, yo, we have a problem. We got
Yeah,
work to do. We got to get together and discuss.
yeah.
Go ahead, Azuli.
The brothers, they don't understand the power that your hair, your features are important to your self-esteem. They don't see it because they themselves have drank the Kool-Aid. But I could say that more brothers, because I see the brothers with their locks, I see the brothers with the braids, I see the brothers with their high tops, I see the brothers trying to fight that. Even the two kids that Brother Bakari mentioned, those two basketball players, even though their mother they rocking their big afros on the court. So how come they could do it themselves, but they choose women? Like, but I can't say it's the majority. Even the sisters, even like LeBron James' wife, I believe under those wig and perm she wears, she has a natural hair, but she doesn't wear them out. So I say this: a lot of the brothers in the NBA, they rocking their braids, they rocking their locks, they rocking their this. So how come the brothers on themselves, most brothers, the perm thing is going for the brothers. They're not wearing perms no more. I think one of the rappers trying to bring back that straight thing, straight hair thing, John Rock, whatever. That those straight like perming your hair. It didn't catch back on. Even though Snoop does it, it doesn't come back on. A lot of these brothers are trying to express their features. So my thing is, how come they could see it themselves, but they can't get they don't see it that it's important in their daughters. They braid their little boys' hair. They let their little boys rock their afro, their fades, like their high top. There's like a disconnect, and I don't understand it.
something else you said earlier, Zuli. I'll just echo here before I read some comments, and then get back to Sister Cheryl. A lot of the problem with black men, I notice, and this includes black men in the conscious space, and there's one guy I could point out as an example to prove it. A lot of black men don't have sexual discipline, and so before we go and really put our foot down with some of the things when it comes to black women, we worrying about our sexual access. And so that's one thing that we got to work on as black men. We got to come together as black men and talk about this and work this out. We got to get off of this. But I ain't going to say nothing too much to the sisters. You know what I mean? Because I ain't want to mess up my little chances. We got to get off of that shit too. Go ahead and then I got comments.
I could say this.
Go ahead.
Could say this. Of all the women that I've encountered, there was a young lady that I encountered. There's two young ladies, but one specific. She was the daughter of my mother's friend. I saw her one time, and she didn't have a wig. She just had a perm. Yeah, and I spoke to her at the time. I had my significant other, so there wasn't anything like sexual or anything that I wanted towards her. So I had a conversation with the little sister. She was young at the time. I said, "Yo, why you perming your hair?" She goes, "Oh, because I like it." The whole she gave me the whole thing that black women tells you when why do you perm your hair? And then I said, "Yo, you ever seen a Caucasian lady or Asian lady with an afro? So how come you always gotta imitate them, but they never imitate you?" And by the grace of the heavens, I don't understand. Maybe a month or 2 months after, that young sister had cut her hair and started growing her natural hair. I mean, that's so I could say there's some listen, but it's a very few. And also, I'm gonna say this also, Koku. We live in a microwave society. A microwave society asks for that type of hair. Because another thing, my niece one time told me to help her untangle her hair. And when I look at the whole thing she has to do to get her hair, quote unquote, prepared, it's a lot of time you have to put in to a black person's hair. Even though boys don't do it, a boy will just put his hair in a bun and keep it moving. But because the women are so scrutinized with their beauty, and they don't see their beauty and the way God created, they see only beauty in what men create, it's gonna be hard. I don't know if I translated if I said that the way I wanted to say it, but this subject, yeah, I'm sorry. Right now, the Asian, I'm kind of tired of it. The sisters don't listen, even when you're trying to tell the brothers, they don't listen because they're just trying to get what's between the street. Oh, that whatever, man. I don't care. So it's hard, man.
Appreciate that. It was
Let's
really
say
real
something
quick
right
in the
quick.
chat.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just want to say I agree when Zuli said about when he said something to that young lady and 2 months later she was changing her hair. Sometimes I think it's the way you said it. Azuli wasn't criticizing her with nothing. He just made something. He made her. But the way he said it, sometimes it's the way you say it. He didn't try to shame her, is what I mean. So the way he said it, it probably like, you know what, made her go in there and do that. So that was a good thing that he said it the way
And
he
you
said
know,
it.
too, brother Bakari, I think I got her early too. Before I think sometimes you have to get the person early before because her mother I had to catch her before maybe that was instilled in her too. I don't know, but for the grace of the universe, oh God, she listened. And the next time I saw her on Faith, and yo, she had her hair grew way more when she permed it. So, and I asked her I said, "Oh, I see you changed," and she told me, "Well, when I went back and thought about it, what you told me was true," and that was for the first time I heard that. And she was at the time, maybe I was in my late 20s, probably, and she was maybe in her late teens or early 20s. Maybe I was 30 and she was in the late teens, which is 19 or 20 or something like that. So she listened, but I had this conversation. Even the book, Brother Bucardi, you said it's how I said. I had the same conversation with other people. It's tough. The propaganda machine is way too. I don't want Brother Bakari to attack me or I'm giving up or whatever. Or people say I'm just saying that that machine, the actors, the basketball players, that female athletes, the singers,
Yeah.
everybody has that. And again, that $1 billion business is not going to let you have a high self esteem because they make money off your low self esteem. And even now, they're trying to apply that shit to men. Now they're putting go to put those things, those men unit on, or I see now they're telling men to wear like to the manscape thing. I don't want to go there, but it's part of it. Or men have to start shaving their underarm, just like it's all now. It's just about making money. Some I'm not saying it's just about making, but the money comes out of a lot of self hate, low self esteem. Sorry, go ahead.
Nope. No. Shit.
Uh,
Go ahead. I'm.
yeah, I got a couple of more panelists here, so I gotta get to some comments in the chat and give them a chance to respond. Trick in the chat says, I know for a fact too, I don't think black women would accept a day of black men wearing fake hair. They likely would shut that down. So men have to shut that down by the selection of women they take. Who was it again? Someone else. Trigger says, yeah, that imagery is so important. The optics is so important. Our highest have to keep a standard of imagery which keeps a community standard in implicit ways. Shout out to Sister Raw in the chat saying greetings to me and the panelists and everyone in the chat. Last thing, Trigger says the choice of men and women are very important in shaping the community. He says this issue is probably the one area where you will see women weaponize body politics too. Like for many black women, black men talking on it is them being controlling of their bodies. With that said, Sister Cheryl is back. Sister Cheryl, what say you to what you've been hearing?
Yeah, can I be heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Can
Yes,
I be
ma'am.
heard? Can you hear me good? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. You can speak.
Okay, sorry. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to get back to what Trigger Happy was saying about black men or black women believing that black men are trying to control their bodies. There's a lot of that going on social media. Like right now, it's like you can't even if you're a man, you can't say nothing surrounding beauty and hair and everything like that because then it becomes, oh well, you want me to do this, you want me to do, and then if a lot of sisters now they're like, okay, well, if I do my natural hair and I wear it in a short, afro, y'all not gonna like it. So y'all don't really like natural. Y'all like a certain kind of natural. So it's a whole thing. And I'm not saying this is true for all men. I'm just saying these are the conversations that are happening on social media. So they're just like, well, if it's you don't really want females are thinking y'all don't really want a natural black woman. You want something like this baby doll. Like you want a biracial natural woman. Okay, you want the baby hairs. You want the straight hair. You don't want the peppercorns in the back of the neck. You don't want. I hate using this word, but you don't want the nappy hair. You don't want none of that. So it's like it's a certain type of natural that why you bring that up right now? Oh, that was funny. But that's the rhetoric right now. So yes, it is up to both parents. I understand what Bakari is saying when he said it's up to both parents, but this is one of those things that we all know. This is post traumatic slave syndrome. This is one of those things that we just haven't come out of, all of us, quite yet. But what I do see a lot of, and I just want to take the time to recognize this, you do see a lot of Black women, and I live down south. You do see a lot of Black women that are making the change to locks, and that's great. Like, I just want to give a shout out to that, because that's amazing. I love to see Black women with locks. You know, it's great. um but then there's so many levels to this, because then if they have locks, then it has to it has to be neat. And I really want to, like, just touch on this with the natural hair movement for a lot of people, because when people say natural hair, majority of people, they're saying, okay, you can have your hair natural, but it can't be one hair out of place. That's Black people. Those are the standards that we're putting on ourselves. All right. And it's because of respectability politics. When you go into a workplace, when you go into church, when you go outside in public, your hair, we think our hair has to be neat. And because neat equals proper, and proper equals respectable. So I'll give you a personal example, because in my family, I always get this myself, and actually my entire family, myself, my son, and my husband, we all have locks. My son has freeform, and my husband has freeform. I have just I have regular locks. Um, and every time we talk to our family on the phone. When are you gonna do your baby's hair? What's wrong with it? You know, he has a lot of hair. It needs to be retwisted. It needs to, and then we start getting into this thing where hair needs to be retwisted, every da da da, and that's a microcosm of slavery as well. Because why does your hair need to have every little piece in place? For what? What's the purpose? Oh, because it looks neat. But what's the concept of neat? Where does neat come from? Because in our minds, white hair is neat. We That's what we're really trying to say, but without saying it. Not just white hair, but any people's hair that's straight. Because we're the only people that have 4C hair. 4C, 4B, the thick, curly, kinky hair. We're the only. So if it's not somewhat, it's never going to be like straight hair, but the closest that it can be is neat. Neat is the next step. So we need to get away from all of that. Like, that's a huge thing. And I'll just land my plane.
Much appreciated, Sister Cheryl. Well, we're gonna welcome a guy we haven't seen since long ago. Buana, welcome back to the show, man. How you been?
Coco, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Buana. All right, look like Buana may have some technical difficulty going on. Real Black Gentleman, you could come back on up. I had to get to the other panelist who was up here first. So you, by all means, can come back up. Black Seals in the chat.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. Black Seals in the chat. He says they never have a problem when a white man wants them to wear their natural hair, though. I think he's saying that in response to Sister Cheryl. Sister Raw says we call them with kind of locks, styly locks. I think she's talking about the not freeform locks. Trigger Happy says black hair mimics the signals of nature. Black hair mimics the signals of nature. The best, which says a lot. I think of free forms the same way you see a lot of different styles of free form. He also says, welcome back, Buana. With that said, Brother Bakari, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know, when you said something about men don't say some stuff about because of which we're not disciplined sexually. We don't say things because of the things that we want. And then I noticed I've heard men say in Azuli touched on it tonight, like the way we cut our hair, losing our strength. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm one of those brothers. I'm gonna be honest with you who cut their hair. Like, I want the docs now, but I remember when I was stationed in Korea, Camp Stanley, my homeboy cut my hair and messed it up and I had to shave it off, right? And some women told me my hair looked good bald. Man, I ain't let no damn hair grow on my head since. Then when I wanted hair to grow a lot, because I felt I needed hair. Now my hair can't grow. And you know, I'm bald because I've been shaving it so long. Now it can't grow. So I'm like, damn. I said, Koku and Azuli is talking about me. Because I did. I ain't gonna lie, I did. Them women say you look good, bald. Like shit, they don't need me letting my hair grow. And that's what happened. But Wanda, before you just come back up here and go to talking, man, you got to give an explanation why you've been gone.
Go ahead, Buana. Look like Buana's having some technical difficulties, man. Buana, if you're on headphones, if you're on wireless headphones, okay, now we can.
You can't hear me. Oh, I have
Hear
the
us.
headphones off. It's very low, but I can hear you. I told Koku at the beginning of the year. I told all the brothers on the panel.
You didn't tell me, Buana.
Yeah, Buana's having some technical difficulties. If you're wearing
You can't hear me?
Buana, you're going in and out. You're going in and out. If you're wearing, I can hear you. It's like you're going in and out. Are you wearing headphones?
I actually take the headphones off. Let me put it back on. Let me put it back on.
We can hear you now. Don't put them on. We can hear you.
All right. While we wait for Buana to get that together, RBG came back. RBG, can we hear you? Say something.
I'm here. Can you hear me? I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
No one can hear me.
All right,
Yes.
that's what's up. All right, that's what's up. I'm gonna be brief. I'm gonna be brief. All right, there's like as far as you know, hair and fake hair. I mean, I think I'll just break it down into like a couple categories, right? From the worst to what's really going on. I mean, historically, Black people do weave in fibers and stuff in their hair. Okay, this is just historical fact. So if you have a fake wig, right, an absolute fake wig that is straight and it's not in your hair, that's the absolute worst thing you can do, right? Just because it's chemicals, it's not your hair, it's straight and it's fake. So that's the worst thing you can do. If you perm your hair, you put like chemical shit on your hair, I mean, that's probably even worse than the wig, truth be told, because it's like the chemical straightening, right? You don't need to do all of that. Okay, now we go into like weave, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you can get this once again fake hair that you're stranding into your hair, which you know is more chemicals, or you can get other people's hair, which is slightly better, I suppose. But you know, they still have to chemically treat that, so it's like none of that's any good. The only real weave that's worth talking about is the weave that, you know what I'm saying, is historical. Fibers, like, you know, natural fibers. Like I read, like, you know, people used to use like banana fibers, you know what I'm saying? Because they're nice and firm and it's similar to the hair. If you like, you know, if you want to, you know, string something into your hair to weave it in to kind of make your hair look a little longer, that's what it is. And frankly, what's happening is like the whole idea of, you know, not wanting to, if your hair isn't like kind of draping down and smooth and laid down, so to speak, because it's braided or whatnot, you know, people just want to, you know, throw on the wig, or they'll like perm it so they don't have to worry about dealing with the you know what I'm saying, the nappiness that they don't want it, that they to some degree can't or won't. I mean, it's a real amount of time, you know what I'm saying? If you have your hair, you should know how long it takes to, you know, the hair gets longer, so you know how much longer it takes to take, but at the same time, sometimes things get hectic, you know what I'm saying? So like, there's that. That's what I would say. I think I wouldn't necessarily demonize weave, because, you know what I'm saying, I've come to realize that, like, yeah, you know, our women do string up stuff in our hair, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I'm saying, just to elaborate it, you know what I'm saying, decorate it. You know what I mean? As long as it's natural. I don't think that we really weaved in other people's hair, or like, you know, if we did have a wig, it would be again natural fibers, or perhaps, you know what I'm saying, they borrowed our own hair, right? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I suppose there could be an industry for that, but I mean, people's hair grow differently. It is what it is. Like, that's all. I just wanted to add my 2 cents to that. That's all.
All right, appreciate that, RBG. Let's go back. Well, real quick, let's ask Sister Cheryl, how much is it for human hair weave or wig?
Yes, for the dog hair, it costs between $300 and $700 per
God,
person, and that's on the low end. That's on the low end. If you want to go
and
to the
that's
high end, the stuff that Beyonce and all the celebrities wear, yours well over 1,000, couple thousand. So I want us to like, and sometimes men they either don't care in the first place, or they've tried and they just given up, and I don't blame them. But this hair thing is out of control, just based on the economics of it, how much money black women control. We should be running like we control the finances of all the Asian people that run the hair stores. Because if all black women got up tomorrow and decided that they didn't want to do no human hair weaves, wigs, period weaves, they would be in the welfare line. It's that bad because we give that much money to them per year. It's a $1 billion industry. So it's more than just about like, how you feel about your independence. This is economics. That's billions of dollars that could be going back into black businesses. But we don't think that way because um we don't have race consciousness. We don't have racial self-esteem. So that's why it is very important. And I understand, men can say something, but they can't say too much because then it turns into a whole thing. Oh, you're trying to control my body, blah 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 blah. And even me, like, I even try to talk to women about this, and a lot of them, when they're stuck on it, if a woman cannot leave the house without a weave on, there's a problem. It's a problem. And all of this, oh well, I want to have different styles this and different styles that. That's bullcrap too. That's foolishness. And the only reason I would understand is for convenience. But even then, because there's plenty of styles, there's plenty of things you can do where you don't have to pay 300, 500, $1,000 for a week. It's insane. And they'll be like, but I can reuse it for a year. And let me tell you, with these weaves that cost all of this money, they reuse that stuff in their head for a whole year, 2, 3 years, because it's quote unquote human hair. So it lasts longer. So they reuse this stuff on top of their head. And it's it's really a mess. Like we really put ourselves in a rut. If you can't tell a woman about not wearing weave, like if you can't get through to them any other way, try the economic way, because I don't know if that's gonna work, but you can try it because the amount of money that we give to them is insane. We put their kids through college. Black women put their children through college just on this alone. So I just want to leave, and I'll land my plane.
appreciate that, Sister
I,
Cheryl.
can I say something real quick?
Yeah,
Um,
go.
well, I think the sister said something men can't tell her. It's because the elephant in the room is misandry noir. Because like somebody just says, when the Caucasian brothers are with them, I've seen a lot of sisters do that, put their natural hair up and stuff like that. But also the Caucasian brothers don't tell them not they can't wear a wig anyway. So, but I see, like, if the men in your community could die for you, you talk about a lot of sisters talking about the black woman is not protected, is not, but that is part of the protection. Telling you to wear your own hair is part of the protection of your self-esteem. Telling you to wear your own hair is the protection that keeps all these chemicals from entering your brain. But there's a lot of misandry noir and the community. So A black man can't really tell a sister what to do and stuff like that. The sister said to talk about economics. Yo, the sister's gonna tell you it's my money. It's not your money. I'm making $200,000 a year. What can you tell a sister that's making $200 a year about not spending $500 on a wig? She's gonna laugh at you. She's gonna laugh at you. But hey, man, I'm just tired of it too. But it is what it is.
Let's try Buana again. Buana, you there?
Coco, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Like I was telling Brother Bakari, I told Coco at the beginning of the year that my cousin was elected as one of the senators in the Bahamas. So he caught me doing like a lot of footwork. So I've been in Andres. Coco will explain where Andres is. I've been in Exuma. I've been in a lot of the family islands because I've been doing kind of a lot of footwork for him. And then I went to Panama. I spent 2 weeks in like Panama. I tell Coco I was in Panama at the time. I was in Cologne. I would advise, by the way, all the brothers and sisters, if you all wish, but go to Panama, man. I used to think that to get a lot of the things that I needed, I would have to go to South Florida. Panama have everything. They have everything, and it's a place where would have a lot of history. I shouldn't even be talking about this because it's off subject. So let me stick to the subject. Black women should wear their natural hair, and I believe that for me, Black women are most beautiful when they wear their natural hair. It's not an argument, but like Urzuli was saying, they're not gonna listen to you. Women want to have their own opinion about how they dress their hair. Usually, this is what the women tell you because my woman is she wear different kinds. She don't wear wig like white women's wigs, but she's with the rolls and stuff like that. What she'll tell me is that it's easier to manage. That's the bullshit she is telling me. Boy, it's easier to manage, and all that nonsense. So I just left it alone after a while. But for my preference, or brothers like Brother Bakari or Koku or even Urzuli, we rather y'all wear y'all natural hair. But for some reason, I don't think y'all dressing for us. I think y'all dressing for the world. Because at the end of the day, I would assume that a woman want to dress for her man. But it seemed to me that she's in a competition. Is like y'all trying to dress for whoever else. I don't know who y'all trying to dress for. But if you ask most Black men, they do not mind a Black woman wearing their natural hair. I don't believe so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Good stuff, Buana. Welcome back. I don't know how long you're here for, but welcome back in the meantime. But Bakari, you mentioned in the chat the baby nap wig, and Sister Cheryl was wondering what is that again? Remind us. I think that has to do with a lady out of Haiti, right? Remind me again.
Baby nap wigs. Baby nap wigs. No, where they moved the office to. They moved their corporate office to Haiti. The sister is. I think she's Nigerian. Her husband is Haitian, but it's wigs that made for Black women to look like their natural hair. Now, I have seen women wearing them, especially when you see a lot of these stylish Afro wigs. A lot of the time, those are the baby nap wigs. They are kind of expensive, I guess, but you can constantly use them. But it's made for it look like natural, like Black women naturals hair. It's not no weave. It's not no straight hair. It looked like Black women's natural hair. I think they got that. I know they got the fro. I've looked at them. I'm not sure if they have locks. They have different styles of Black women natural hair on a wig, and it's called baby nap wigs. I was just wondering what y'all think about it with the sisters wore baby nap wigs.
Anyone on the panel want to tackle that? I mean, I'll start. Me personally, if you have to wear a wig, because I think someone said microwave whirl earlier, because you feel it's quicker to do what you got to do, but as a natural, me personally, I don't mind it so much. I still think the problem with wigs that I've learned from women over the years, which is why let me tie this back to the original prompt. To put a wig on a baby is diabolical. Because the thing that I've learned from women is that these wigs tend to mess up your natural hair underneath them anyway, which will then require you to go ahead and go wear a wig, you know, to deal with that issue. So, you know, I'm not against it if it's a natural hair type of thing. It suits who you are as a black woman, personally. But again, if it's going to damage your actual hair, you know, what's the use of it at the same time? Does anyone else want to comment on that?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Can
go
I say
ahead,
something
Sarah.
about the name right
Yeah.
quick? Because somebody asked me, how did it get the name Baby Nap Wigs? I don't know. The wigs ain't made for babies. I don't know how they got, I don't know how I got the name Baby Nap Wigs. It's not made for babies. But I have seen older, I ain't gonna say older, because I'm young, flying, flashing, I'm 54.
Yes, sir.
I've seen women, I have seen women around my age wearing them though.
Go
Yeah,
ahead, Sarah.
I think it's like, it's one of those things where it has to be the exception and not the rule. So just because you can doesn't always mean that you should. But if you have to, then you can do it with the knowledge that it's hair that looks like yours. So I think that it's I think it's a solution to economically it's a solution to getting away from all of the Asian owned black hair care and beauty product. Like I would definitely well, I have locks, but I would encourage women who find themselves having very little time in their day. Maybe you got a lot of kids, maybe you got a high power career. We live in that type of society. It's fast paced. So if you have to, that's the route that you choose, then okay. But I don't think that should be like the end all be all. You know what I'm saying? Like I think we should still be. I think it's a good alternative, is what I'm saying. So I would definitely um support it, but I wouldn't be like, yes, that's it. That's what we should be doing. Because weaves, and I don't know what is this. I don't know what this stuff is made of. Is it made of natural stuff? That would be great if it is. Because a lot of women that I know that got weaves over the years, they're like my age now, like the edges are falling out, on the side. They got, all types of problems with the hair. So I don't know. I don't know those details, but it sounds like a better option, is what I'll say. I'll lay my plane.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that in corporate America are kind of like anti black women's natural hair. I've heard that. I don't know how true that is. In the Bahamas, they have a
Yeah.
aversion to dreadlocks for some reason. I don't know why, but I want to know if that's true because maybe that may be one of the reasons why a lot of the sisters don't rock their natural hair because many of them work for corporate America and they feel like that may work against them in terms of working. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, yeah, I think it is true to an extent because, well, I have a cousin that she's a lawyer, and I've only ever seen her wear like the weaves, like a full on like white woman weave, I never say anything to her because she's a great person or whatever, all that good stuff. But I never. It's like one of those things where I can't just walk up to her and say, "Hey, why don't you change your hair?" Because she's not in that mindset. So I know, I'm not going to say something where I know it's not going to make a difference. But yes, and I've heard many women who work in corporate. I've never worked in corporate, so I don't think there's something called the Crown Act. I'm not sure if that applies to corporate. I don't know if that maybe corporate makes their own rules. But where I worked for the VA hospital, and because of the Crown Act, which states that black people should be able to wear their hair in professional quote unquote settings and not be chastised for it and not be discriminated against. So I personally, when I worked a career, when I was in my career, I didn't have a problem. But yeah, I think they do have something going on with that. It's more, that's when that respectability starts showing up. It's like we don't want to see that nappy head in the, because it's that's colonialism. That's like one of the roots of colonialism. That's just, the corporate world. So I mean, it makes perfect sense. So I mean, yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it's cool. I appreciate that answer because, you have even in these colonial countries, and where I live in right now, they have issues with women who wear their natural hair as well. And it's crazy because it's supposed to be a black country. But I always heard that, the sisters had issues when they would try to wear their natural hair in private owned corporations, not necessarily government, because the government, you have government regulations that's probably going to be against that. But when you're working for a privately owned company, then it's different rules apply. So I really was just curious as to how they navigate that world.
Yeah, and I also think like when you get to places like, the Bahamas, the islands, Nigeria, they're still run by, the British Commonwealth. Well, I'm not sure which ones are and which ones aren't, but a lot of them have certain rules. And I think Nigeria, I'm not sure if they did away with this, but in their parliamentary system, then they used to wear those powdered white wigs that the white men used
Still
to
do.
wear.
They still do.
They
They
still
still
do?
do.
They still do?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
whoa. See,
Absolutely.
so yeah, that's
Yeah.
a microcosm of colonialism. So they still have that heavy over there. So it's just one of those things. It's like, so for instance, I was saying in the chat, like you'll find places in Africa, like South Africa, they're more they're more on par with like the United States in terms of like the black populations and showing appreciation for natural hair and not making fun of natural hair. I think that's a very specific thing because South Africa, they love to wear their natural hair, but it's because of their proximity to whiteness. They don't want to, be a lot of them don't want to be associated with that. So they wear their hair with pride on in South Africa. Now, I was
Well,
obviously
for,
there's going to
for me,
be black people.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
go
a
ahead.
South Africa is a little bit problematic for me right now because even though they wear their natural hair, they ain't in their natural mind. But needless to say,
Oh yeah, I could believe that. No, no, no. I
oh
agree. I
god,
agree with that. I agree with that. No, but every place has their problems. But in terms of just the hair, when you see the hair move, when you go to certain places, you go to Nigeria, you wear your natural hair. You go to Ghana, you wear your natural hair. You wear what is it called, freeform. They're gonna look at you like you done lost your mind. They're gonna look at you like you're crazy. If you do that in the United States, they're not gonna look at you like you're crazy. Okay, because
are you
there's
serious?
enough of the natural. It's not like in Ghana, not like in Ghana,
Okay,
not the same way. Not
okay.
absolutely not.
So you don't think that the typical white American feel threatened when they see a black man with dreads in his hair? You don't feel that
Oh
way?
no, 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 no. That's not what I meant. I mean black people. I'm talking about the black population. I'm talking about
I
black people are not going to look at you in the United States if you wear your hair like long, like even like I have my hair like long locks, not retwisted. They're not going to look at me like I'm crazy. When I went to Ghana, they looked at me like I was crazy. Like they looked at me like what the hell are they looked at my husband like what is
yeah,
this? What is it? Never any. Now the United States does has its problem with hair. Don't get me wrong, but it's
yeah,
levels. It's
yeah,
levels. You're
yeah.
never gonna go to You're never gonna go to the United States and people are gonna laugh at you because you have long locks that are not retwisted. Never, never,
Okay, okay.
never.
That's cool. That's cool.
So that's the
So,
difference. But there's still issues. But that's one of those things that you're not gonna see.
so that was a great conversation. I spent about a half hour filibustering at the beginning of the show, and it was only me up here. And we turned that into a really good conversation. By the way, shout out to Black Steel. I think I saw him in the chat earlier. So shout out to him. But I think the idea, the whole point of that first Shoot the Breeze topic was about beauty being taught to our children. So our beauty standards being taught to our children before they could even understand them. And I guess we got to question what other ideas about who is superior or inferior have Black people absorbed without realizing it. So let's go to Shooter Breeze topic number 2. We're going to talk about a very interesting character that we've talked about before here. Shooter Breeze topic number 2, Frank Zanu, at it again.